Hello, my beautiful, gorgeous dance baby, and welcome to another episode of More Than Dance. Today, we are talking about the topic that making someone else's day is free. And I have a short little story to share with you. Josh and I, over the weekend, we went to the beach. So, right from the start of the day, I noticed this woman, and I think she had 3 kids. And she was walking on the sand, and you could just tell like energy was some type of way. She was like huffy, and she was like kind of like rolling her eyes like a little bit. And like the morning was tough with the kids, and they were like young kids, and they were kind of like in a mood potentially. And I just like kind of looked over and I just said like, oh, she's having a tough day. It's like what I kind of like deducted based off of what I was observing. Now she decides to go right in front of us, and I see her attempting to set up this tent. And it wasn't our tent, which was the Cool Cabana, which we absolutely love. And if you don't have one, like definitely get one for yourself. It makes beach life so easy. And we have this habit, like when we're at the beach, to just look at all the different types of tents, and we see all unique, different kinds of ones. And we kind of like wonder, like, I wonder why they went that route, or I wonder like what this one's like for them. And we kind of just observe. And this girl was building this tent, and like I think it was fresh from the box, and we see her reading the instructions and like trying to do it. And meanwhile, her like 3 kids are like asking her and demanding her of things. And at one point I see her just like fold the towel in, and she's gonna give up. And I see her packing it up, and I think I even heard her say, well, we're not gonna use this today. And I see her like rolling the thing back up and just like unhooking every progress that she had just made with it. And I just like got up out of my chair. I don't know. It was just like a knee-jerk reaction. Like I was like, she needs help. I want to help her. So I went over, and Joshy being Joshy, like he was like, oh, like where are you going? I was like, I helped this person. He was like, okay. So the 2 of us went over to this girl, and we were like, hey, do you want some help putting your tent together? And she was like, oh my God. She nearly cried because we were just so ready to help her with this. And the 3 of us, we all figured it out. And to be honest, and this could be a different episode, we have touched on this before a little bit of like when you're almost there. She was so close to being done. But it was just like the wearing of the day on her that was fooling with her confidence. And it was like the time that maybe she needed to like finish it with the balance of attending to her kids. And maybe it was her second guessing because it was like her first time. And like there's so much other like analyzation I can put into this if I chose to, but I want to get to the real heart of today's episode. There we were. We didn't really help that much. Like we did. We did. We like thread things through and we put it around, but she was telling us like what to do. She was like, and this goes in here, and then this one's going to go around. And we just found like the slots for the things. Like maybe she had just missed it, or she was so busy, like again, with her kids that she like didn't notice it. And it was just like a really cute moment. And I know that I can't speak for Josh, but I personally felt good helping her. And she was so gracious, and she was like, oh my God, thank you guys so much. She was like, you made my day. And I was like, oh my gosh, doing something that little like made her entire day. So it's kind of funny because we have opportunities to do this a lot. And a lot of the times we don't want to be intrusive, or we don't want to get into someone else's business, or, you know, someone might be independent and we might be like, but I go with my gut a lot of the times, and my gut was telling me to help. And I can think of another instance specifically at the beach recently where I saw this guy like dragging this cooler, and I was like, I'm going to help him. And the reason is because I'm a DJ, and you know this. And when I'm lugging my equipment in to certain venues, man, with my little cart, it is a project. And when anyone asks me, do you want some help with that? I've gotten so used to saying, yes, I would love that. And it's sometimes hard to do because our knee-jerk reaction is to say like, oh, no, thank you. Like, because we don't want to burden anyone else. And I've come to the realization that if someone's asking, they genuinely want to help you. I genuinely wanted to help that girl. I genuinely wanted to help this guy. Oh yeah, so back to the story with the cooler. So he's lugging this cooler, and you know, I'm like, hey, do you need a hand? And I just like got it, and I was like, let's do this together and make this easier. And you know, it was like really cute. And he was like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like I just had surgery and da 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 da. And I was like, oh my God, I know how that is. And like, you know, we both had a moment. I told him about my surgery. He was telling me about his, and then his wife came over. And anyway, long story short, we hugged, and maybe she's gonna come watch us perform, maybe not. And it was just like really cute. And I think about that, like, and then I was also like, oh gosh, I just love when people help me too. Like I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about when I'm DJing. And then I kid you not, fast forward, like, I don't know, maybe it was just even a day. I'm like lugging a bunch of stuff up the stairs at the very same beach. And this little like 9-year-old was like, oh, do you want a hand with that? And I was like, you're so cute. Thank you. And like, I didn't accept help from a 9-year-old because like, like just precious. But like, I was like, I did like definitely want to like reward him. Like, thank you so much for offering. That means so much. But so back to DJing, like when there's the cart, right? And there's the small wheels and the big wheels. And when you go over the small wheels over a hump, it's like nearly impossible by yourself to do it. So usually what you do is you turn it around when you're going to go around a hump so you can go over it with the big wheels. But turning it around, it's a whole thing too. So it's kind of like sometimes it feels really awesome to have this be a 2-person job. And when anyone is like, oh, do you want a hand with that? I'm like, absolutely. And helping is so fun. I'm thinking of another DJ gig where I was like loading stuff up and like these 2 guys came over, like a dad and son, and they were like, we're going to help you put this stuff in your car. I was like, okay. I was like, thank you. Like, it was almost like, we're going to help you. Like, we're not going to have you do this alone. It was just nice because it was the end of the night and it was raining and it made my night, and it made my night so much easier because I had their help. And I love that. I love to see helping spread around me. I just love it. And I get to see this a lot of times at the studio, and it's awesome. And this goes hand in hand with the ripple effect and everything about the ripple effect, because what the ripple effect says is you do and your doing inspires others to also do, which people receive, and then they do more, and it's like this never-ending trickle of ripple. And so what I see at the studio and what I find so beautiful is like when someone's performing and someone's like, hey, like you did so good with that. Here's what I loved. Or, hey, I just saw like you got that. Like you weren't like, maybe you weren't getting that before. And I just saw like you did, you got that. Like, go girl. And I see this in terms of that. And then I also see it in terms of when I put it into practice. So I have this exercise that I do with my students where I'll pair them up and I'll have them watch each other specifically for things that they can improve on and things that they are excelling at. And at the end of the day, usually people are like, I love the partner activity. And it's because we have someone like us helping us. And it's a little different because, I'm the teacher. So when I'm helping, and I'm instructing and I'm telling. When another peer is helping, it's a different type of relationship. It's a different type of like relatability. So in the case of me helping this, woman with her tent, it's the same kind of feeling that I get when someone's like, let me help you with your equipment. I'm like, I love that. Like you, like versus like, the event coordinator or someone helping me. It's like a different role. And it's like, that would mean also so much. And that's kind of like a hard example, but I guess it would be like this is what it would be like. It would be like when I'm congratulating my students on what they did. They're like, is she just saying that because she has to say that because like I'm in her classroom? The answer is no. I don't have to say anything. And also I would never give my students congratulations on something that I really didn't feel like. It would be very thoughtful, basically, it was what I'm saying. Like whenever I'm telling my students something, it's because I've thought about it a lot and I'm actually thinking about it in a certain type of way. So to receive and give to their peers, they're participating in the ripple effect. They are getting an opportunity to make someone's day. And yes, maybe they're making someone's day because I told them to, doing the activity on purpose to have them have relatability. It's just a great exercise for teachers to do this in their classrooms. And it opens up doors, and it's a great type of learning. And it's helpful for people who are a little introverted, and they get an opportunity to like make a friend. Especially we get a lot of people like in Rhode Island, we have transplants all the time. So people who are moving and then choosing to stay because Rhode Island is awesome. And so we get a lot of people, believe it or not, with their dance goal being like, I also want to make some dance friends. So this really is the catalyst for stuff like that to happen. So they were able to connect. And the reason why is because I made a point to make that part of my lesson plan. And if you are excited by this idea of making someone's day, you can do exactly what I did, which was make it a point to do it in your week, in your day, in your year, in your month, however way you want to structure it. But I think we all know that feeling. Like I'm sure you've been to the drive-thru before and someone has paid for your order by the time you get up to pay. And it's like, oh, and you just, you pay it forward, and it's really sweet and it's really cute. And who knows how long it goes for, but we do know how long it lasts, because here I am still talking about these moments in my life. And you never know. I mean, this goes back to the idea that like, you never know what someone's going through. Like, I didn't know that guy had surgery when I helped him. I was just like, dude, that cooler looks heavy as F and this sand is thick. So like, what's it going to do? Plus it was like one of those moments where I didn't really want to like sit still, and it's an excuse to talk to people and tell them about the podcast. So when we do things like that, we do get something out of them. I did feel really great. And like, we made a connection with the girl too. It turns out like 2 of her friends came, and oh my gosh, this is actually even more funny now that I think about it. So later, fast forward, I like smell this smell. And if you know me, you know I love smells. So I'm like, oh my God, what's that smell? What is that smell? And my mom's like, ooh, I don't know, but that's a good smell. Then Josh is like, oh, I smell that. My dad is like, oh, I smell that too. And I was like, that smells good. And I was like, Mom, let's find the smell together. She was like, what? I was like, we just like go around and we can just like sniff out the smell. Well, first of all, thank you, Mom, for being like down for doing something so silly with me. So she's like, okay, let's go. So we're going on this like walk, a sniffing walk, basically. And she was like, I think it's over there. And I was like, okay. So she led the way. And sure enough, our noses took us right to the girls. So the girl with the kids, who now had 2 friends with her. And I was like, our noses led us here. We just smelled. She's like, oh, you smelled this thing. And then the girl just like sprayed me with it. Like, it was just a really cute moment. And then she was like, to her friends, she was like, guys, this is the girl that helped me like with the tent earlier that I was telling you about. And then they were like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, it was like another moment of so cute. And then turns out like one of the girls, like she was like, I really want to start dancing. And then I told her about the studio, and like, you just never know. So we had this like really organic, fun moment on the beach, and we got to enrich each other's lives. So it was really cool. By the way, the smell is, okay, here it is. It's called Beach Skin, and it's by Fleur. So PHLUR. Beach Skin. So that's what we sprayed all over ourselves. And that's what that whole side of the beach was probably smelling like, because we were like, ah. Anyway, my point in sharing this with you is going back to the title, making someone's day is free. And it didn't take me anything other than a second to go and help her. And it didn't take the person who helped me, DJ, like it didn't cost them anything to do that other than just their willingness to help and their time for a second. And here I am, right? You can see the influence, you can see the positive impact. Here I am still talking about it and using it as a tool to continue to enrich the people that are around me in my life. So I hope that you use this going forward in your week. And when you're thinking about, well, should I go help that person? Go ahead and do it. And at the best, they say, yes, thank you. And at the worst, they say, no, thank you. I don't even know if that's best or worse. I just think it's like the 2 outcomes. And it is really funny to see how receptive people are to help too. So if you're someone who struggles with accepting help, maybe this could be your sign to let some help in so that you can further be enriched and know that you don't have to do it all alone. And maybe this is your sign the next time that you are in dance class to say something that you've been thinking inside your head. Maybe you're like, oh, I always want to tell her that I really like her outfit, or I always want to tell her that like I just love her extensions. Do it next time. Don't be shy about it, because you could make that person's day. It could be the reason why that person continues to show up for class. Because when we're learning how to dance, we're very vulnerable and we don't have quite the skill of self-validation yet. So it feels nice to have external validation from others to help us with our momentum. And when we get to our moment of momentum, that's when things really start to go full swing for us. And if you can be part of that, well, why wouldn't you want to be part of that? If this was at all helpful for you, it would mean the absolute world to me if you left a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. This is the only way the podcast can grow, and it could also help another dancer just like you expand and grow within her dance journey. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the dance floor.